The NFL stands for not for long.
Set, Sharga and Armstead. Roll out, Walker still running out. Looks to the left, wide open, Thompson touchdown. Colin Thompson with the touchdown. There was nobody within 20 yards of him.
What a catch off the bobble. Colin Thompson scoops it up.
Lofting corner, the end zone. It is caught for the touchdown. The first NFL touch for Colin Thompson is a score.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Colin Thompson Show. I appreciate everybody tuning in, supporting us near and far. A lot going on in my life personally these days. A lot of good stuff, a lot of exciting stuff. Traveling down here from Annapolis all the way down to Key West and making some pit stops along the way. Going to be doing some radio tonight at Sirius XM NFL Radio, Channel 88. We have a show, myself, Alec Ingle, and I, every Tuesday night. Like I said, 7 to 8. This is recording January 30th, so we'll do the show tonight. Really excited for that. Then working our way down to Key West for a free camp for kids that we've done now the second year in a row, the Thompson Family Football Camp. If you would like to support that camp, you can reach out to me individually. You can reach out with donations or give your time. Send it to somebody that you know that's down the Keys, that has a kid or just wants to come and volunteer their time and help us out. It's a really cool camp. We support a lot of local businesses and just get the kids out there running around, because not a lot of people pay attention to the kids down here professionally, on a professional level, the NFL ranks and all that. There's a lot of people that come visit, hang out, and party and may not invest their time. That's what we want to do here in my family. So really excited for that camp. Special thanks to our friends at Not For Long Media production company. We're going to be shooting a ton of content this week down in Key West. Really excited to go into these bars and restaurants and shoot some content there. We're going to be hitting a rum distiller. We're going to be hitting all these things. Kind of a new YouTube series that we're going to be having at the media company that I've kind of started, curated, come up with some ideas, and we're going to kind of wing it and see how it goes. Kind of like an Anthony Bourdain, Guy Fieri type situation. So we'll see. Super excited. Going to have Georgia and our team down there in Key West shooting some content. Then we're going to be at spring training. So really excited for that too. Somewhere that second week of the month, we're going to be up in spring training, shooting some great content with some people from the Yankees, the Phillies, different organizations, and just having some fun all around town. So lots going on there. Obviously, we just finished up a crazy weekend of the NFC Championship games and things like that. My number one takeaway is this: Baltimore lost a great opportunity and Detroit lost a great opportunity with two Super Bowl rosters, two Super Bowl fan bases, front offices, coaching staffs. Like, that's what it takes to get a Super Bowl. It takes everybody included for a decade plus to try to get everybody on the right track, try to win games, try to make a push and take down some of these giants, if you will, with the Chiefs and the Niners. And I thought those were the 2 years that maybe you could get those two ball clubs and get a victory. But man, oh man, oh man, credit to those two organizations. They just both find a way to get it done, the Chiefs and the Niners, for a very, very long time now. There's been consistency in the front office. There's been consistency with the GM, the head coach, the quarterback, really key pieces. And really at the end of the day, those two ball clubs just have really key coaching members throughout the staff. I think that's really cool. Like, you always see their coaches trying to get plucked out of there. We know the history of the Shanahan crew offensively and defensively now with Steve Wilkes there. We know the history of Steve Spagnuolo and Andy Reid and Matt Nagy. A lot of Eric Bieniemy. There's a lot of consistency when it comes to these guys trying to get opportunities and getting opportunities, which is key. And then having success elsewhere, you can just see there's a lot of really good stuff. The recipe they put together for success is being copied, and it's had success, even with D'Amico Ryans, most notably this year with C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans. So lots to unpack. Listen, there's going to be so much content out about the Super Bowl. We're going to be doing a live show in Key West next Wednesday. So if you're going to have any friends down there, you could send them down there to check us out next Wednesday at Lost Boys Creations. Really excited to check them out and do a live show from 5 to 6 at Lost Boys Creations right there, right across from the Green Parrot. The Bearded Lady, great little bar right there too. So lots to unpack from the following weekend. I got to jump on Mike Gill. I figured we'll do a little episode. I've been doing a lot of traveling, so I wanted to check in with you guys. Make sure to thank our friends over at the original Fudge Kitchen, fudgekitchens.com. They ship fudge. They ship sweet treats. You know the drill, across the country. Check them out. Bring some of the taste of the Jersey Shore, the saltwater taffy, the whole nine, right to their door. It goes literally right out of the back. They make it fresh. They box it. It goes. 2-3 days after they make it, it's right at your door. This isn't something that's like being stored or anything. Like, it goes right out the back door. So check them out, fudgekitchens.com. Appreciate all your guys' support, your love, and your passion for Not For Long Media, all of our shows here. Check them all out. And again, we're going to send it over to Mike Gill. I was on Mike's show, 97.3 ESPN. We talked all things NFL. We talked Eagles, several things. So lots to unpack and tons of content coming from us here at Not For Long Media. Appreciate all your support.
Here on 97.3 ESPN, there's Colin Thompson. What's up, my man? How are you?
What's up, Mike? Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, man. So, all right, so much to get into. I know as a guy who just, was right in the league, you were in a training camp this year. You know a lot of guys in this league. You know a lot of coaches in this league. I got so many questions. But let's start with the games on Sunday. And if you are a Detroit Lion right now, are you mad at Dan Campbell? Do you support Dan Campbell? Do you subscribe to that's what got us here? What kind of emotions would you have as a player who lost a game where people are questioning the decisions of the coach?
My response is, we don't know what goes on in those buildings. We try. Mike Gill Show has, NFL players on, coaches on, media members that think they know what's going on, but we don't know what goes on in that building. I know it's an obvious statement, but listen, Dan Campbell may have went in at halftime and told him, hey, guys, I'm not taking my foot off the gas. This is how we're going to operate. Are you guys okay with it? And the whole team could have said, damn right we are. This is what we've done all year. So I see things changing maybe next year in Detroit, because the mantra of the underdog thing, that's gone. They're legit. Like, that football team is built really well. People would argue this, but I think they're coached very well. And now with Ben Johnson deciding to stay, you now have a great offensive mind of Dan Campbell back, Ben Johnson back, and we'll see what the defensive coordinator gets, because he's been up for some head coaching jobs as well. So if I'm a player in those seats, I have no problem with it, because at the end of the day, they were still up big. And at that point of time, when that big decision about the field goal or to go for it, right, those should have been executed. They weren't executed poorly by the players. So I know we go back and forth on the show, like, is it the Jimmies and Joes or it's the X's and O's? And in that case, it wasn't executed properly by the player. So we support our coach that's aggressive. That's what I would say. And he's trying to win. He's trying to seal the deal and put away a really good football team, because there's a reason why they're acting that way. They knew the Niners had what they had, and they proved them right, man. They came back, and it's a shame, because if I'm in Baltimore or I'm in Detroit, we had 2 Super Bowl caliber teams, rosters, coaches, front office, the whole nine, fan bases. That's what it takes to win a Super Bowl, not just a couple players here and there. And they dropped the ball literally and figuratively. And it's a shocking turn of events for me in the NFL season.
Yeah, I mean, you're up 17 in that spot, and everybody's saying, just take the points, just take the points, just take the points. It happened multiple times that they said, nope, we're not going to take the points. If you're Detroit and you've never been to a Super Bowl, and it was right there, it has got to be tough to be hanging your head this week and looking at that saying, man, we were right there. But then you got San Francisco. What did they do that took the momentum from Detroit and made Detroit have to go for it or want to go for it?
I think what they did is exactly what Baltimore needed to do to win, was just stick to their guns and do exactly what they do well, no matter if it eats clock off, no matter if it may take a little bit longer. They stayed true to who they were. Like, C-Mac exploded through those key moments, right? And that's him running the football down multiple scores late in this football game, third and fourth quarter, right? So it wasn't like I saw in the Baltimore game, not talk about that one, but like the Ravens had plenty of time and they're taking shots down the field. We all saw the Rex Ryan clip, right? The Ravens thought they had Tom Brady when they have Lamar Jackson, the MVP, just stick to do what they do. So what the Niners did, Mike, is just do what they do. They made some changes defensively. You could see Steve Wilkes, a veteran leader, a guy that was up for the Panthers job last year as interim head coach. He's been up for several jobs this year. Step up and make the right calls and adjustments at halftime to kind of stymie that offense that was really having their will, right? Like, it looked like a blowout at one point in time. We're like, holy cow, these games are bad. And then all of a sudden, they came back. So the Niners stuck with their guns, Mike, what they do best. Kyle Shanahan had this bad rap, right, of a guy who couldn't come back in third and fourth quarters, but he's done it now several weeks in a row. So I'm sure he's put that thing to bed.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to Baltimore. A lot of criticism, of course, of Lamar and the game plan. They only ran it, 6 times with running back. We heard Monken came in to change the offense. Well, they put the game in Lamar Jackson's hands, and that didn't seem to go well. It wasn't all him. I mean, obviously, Flowers had a rough couple of minutes at the office there. But I don't know. When you look at Baltimore, Colin, do you look at a team that says maybe this group and this mindset has gotten them as far as they can go?
I don't. I think if they stuck with what they did, Mike, they're in the Super Bowl right now. This was the year to get Kansas City. Really was. Like we all saw.
That, yes.
Sorry?
I agree with that. Yes.
This was the year to get Kansas City. But this is what happens with these dynasties, Mike. Right? Like if you look at the Patriots 10 years ago, they always win a Super Bowl that you don't expect. Right? Like they always won one or two, or they lost one or two, or they like give or take, right? These dynasties, they're all upset because they feel like they should have won more. And for Kansas City, right, to have another opportunity to cement themselves, and Mahomes now would enter some really, really high praise individuals, Brady, Montana, and surpass a lot of people with Super Bowl rings. So if I'm Baltimore, Mike, we missed a big time window where we could take down the champs, and to really rush Lamar 8 times, great. But Gus Edwards, 3 rushes, Zay Flowers, 2 rushes, Hill, 3 rushes. I'm running Lamar until his wheels fall off. Because when they decided to run him in key moments, they ran that quarterback power with the jumbo set, and he split it early in the game, and you're like, oh boy, they're not going to be able to defend it. That's what you do. You get these guys through the season healthy. You saw it with the Eagles last year. They started running Jalen more in key situations. Well, why? Because, hey, we're almost at the finish line here. We got to get to the Super Bowl. With Lamar, I would have ran him a ton, Mike, and I would have stuck with what got us here. And that, to me, is the biggest travesty, and that's going to be really hard to swallow because Todd Monken, he's one of the best coaches in the NFL this year, most successful. He's probably up for assistant coach of the year. I mean, the guy had a great year right out of college. And then who knows? Is it his call? Was it Harbaugh's call? We'll never know. But, Mike, it's to have a defense like that, to have the players they have. Patrick Queen now is going to leave up for a deal. Clowney had a great year. He's going to be probably gone, right? So there's a lot of pieces that they're going to have to replace, and they have a great front office, and I'm sure they will. But, man, they missed a window of opportunity to beat Kansas City.
Yeah, they missed an opportunity to beat Kansas City, as you said, a team that seemed to be there. So what does Kansas City still do so well that you think you could beat them, but not so fast?
Mike, they're just in sync. They're just all in sync. We'll start defensively. Steve Spagnuolo has coached a lot of football. A lot of football. I was with him with the New York Giants for a cup of coffee when I was there. He's a guy who lives down the Jersey Shore in the summertime. I hear he's a legendary coach, legendary person. That defense, how many people can really name that? Too many people on that defense. Not like they used to be able to name them. And now they have a bunch of young draft picks. They have a great front office. And Spags got those guys rolling, making plays. So it's probably the best defense Patrick Mahomes had with them. So that's really nice. And then offensively, we know the drill. To have Andy Reid and Matt Nagy heavily involved in that offense, tie it with Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey and the Pacheco and Edwards-Helaire, and really their offensive line is one of the best in the NFL, like really good high-end players. It doesn't matter if you have Tyreek Hill or not, right? Like Tyreek Hill's on his couch right now watching football because that's the investment that Miami had to make to get that type of player. It really straps your cap, and you have to really stretch to make it happen. So the combination of the great coaches, Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey, the best receiving tight end of all time, and just an absolute legend of a player. They're playing on the road and winning, Mike. This isn't Kansas City who'd always have to, the AFC goes through Kansas City. That's not the case. So the AFC, man, they blew their chance because now the more momentum is going to be behind Kansas City. And I see this turning into a Patriots dynasty situation really fast, Mike, where a lot of veteran players are going to be going there for very, very cheap to win a Super Bowl again.
Colin Thompson, NFL free agent tight end from the Colin Thompson Show on Not For Long Media. The Eagles, Vic Fangio. What do you know about Vic Fangio and what that defense might look like here in Philadelphia?
I was with Vic with the Chicago Bears along with Sean Desai. Sean Desai is a disciple of Vic Fangio. I know they wanted Vic first, and then I'm sure Vic probably said you should talk to Sean Desai, and that's where Sean Desai came out of. So I know Vic's obviously have a longer tenure To me, this was a personnel move. The personnel they brought in to run that defense with Sean, they're planning on keeping some of those individuals. Some of them are on contract. So they're going to run the same structure of defense, but I'm sure they're going to have a complete overhaul of talent in certain positions, primarily linebacker, primarily defensive backs, the whole defensive backfield. We'll see how that goes. A lot of veterans, a lot of players that are owed some money there. So I'm sure Howie's going to be doing some gymnastics there. But at the end of the day, I'm a Jimmy's and Joe's guy, Mike. Like, you can have any coordinator you want, but if you don't have the dudes to execute and go get Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow and Dak Prescott in key moments, like, I don't care what defense you call. You need to have guys to match up with these offenses in the league because A, the rules lean towards offense, and B, there's a lot of money on these offensive sides of the field now because of that. So I love Vic. He's a character. He's a dry sense of humor. He knows the Philadelphia area well and is a fan. He's a foodie. Any media people listening out there, ask him about good Italian restaurants and all that. That's the stuff he likes. So he's a good guy, quiet, all business.
Do you like you got the Fangio defense, Gannon, Desai? There's some people that say, maybe that defense has gotten figured out a little bit. Do you like that they went to the same style of defense, or would you have rather seen them to get a new philosophy on defense?
I think it's all based off their personnel, Mike. Like, you can't just bring in a different front. They're going to run the 5-man front again. They're going to focus on stopping the run, having big edge players. They have that in Sweat and Reddick. So I think if you go back down to a 4-man front, or you bring like a cover 0, Wink Martindale, Brian Flores blitzing team, like, that's dicey business. This, to me, has Howie's literally fingerprints all over it. Obviously, as the general manager, he makes these decisions. You see now he's making a lot of decisions, at least publicly, it seems that way. So this was we had the personnel to do it, but we didn't maybe feel Sean Desai was ready for it. So we can do it. We just need a veteran coach to get it done.
All right. On the other side of the ball, you got Kellen Moore, a veteran coach, but he's only 35 years old. Obviously, Dallas, well-known to the Eagle fans. Then he went to L.A. with the Chargers. I don't know. What do you think about the fit of Kellen Moore's offense with this Eagles team?
I think it's a great match in the sense that Kellen Moore was an under center quarterback in his day at Boise State. Dak Prescott, when he was with them, was an under center quarterback. Kellen shows a multitude of things, but he's going to run a lot of the West Coast under center Niners type stuff that you're seeing out there that has a ton of success, that is spread like wildfire through the NFL. Everybody's hiring those people. If you can't get a coordinator, they go to the quarterback coach. If you can't get a quarterback coach, you get an assistant, right? Everyone's trying to get a piece of that offense because you're getting talent successful, maybe talent that isn't so strong. So at the end of the day, Mike, for me, I like the move. I think I like it because he's young enough now to relate to Jalen Hurts. Jalen, talk to me. What do you need? What do you want? How can we get this thing going? Because you're signed with Jalen. Jalen's here for the long run. So you got to make it work. So everyone's saying, oh, he's not the guy. He's the guy because he's signed to that contract. You can't get rid of it. And I personally think he's good enough to get it done. Very, very good football player. This year he didn't have the year he wanted. It's a part of a journey. So I like the move, Mike. We'll see what happens at Philly. But I think that, listen, Howie Roseman's extremely aggressive. They're in win now mode, always in Philly. So I see him making some moves here in the offseason that are maybe surprising some people. Don't know what they are, but they're going to move on for some players, and then go after some players. Trade.
Yeah, like I agree. Like I suggested the other day, when they went and got this level of coach, the veteran coach, it was kind of Howie almost admitting, okay, we made a mistake going with more inexperienced coaches. We got veteran guys, and now it's time for me to do my job of getting these guys, better players.
I think you're right. I think, listen, before the season on paper, everyone looked great. I don't think anybody's like, he didn't do his job, inadequate. I don't think anybody's saying that. If you are, I think you're nuts because you know what? Guys didn't perform. Like at the end of the day, I don't think we talk enough about guys have to perform, right? Like I'm sitting here talking to you, Mike, as an NFL free agent because I didn't perform at times. Like it's a pretty 1 + 1 = 2 business. You perform and you're young enough and you have enough upside, you're going to be in a building. And if not, you're going to be fighting like I am to get into training camps, all these different things to prove yourself that you have worth. So I like it. I completely agree with you saying. I think this year is probably a good merge point, and they'll do really well because they're going to have a great roster, and they'll be well coached, and they'll be more in sync because they all learn from lessons. It's a part of the journey of these dynasties.
Yeah, I know that we're talking with Colin Thompson, NFL free agent tight end, not for long media. I know a lot of people looking at the Eagles and wondering, are they in rebuild, or is this a team that is watching championship weekend and saying, we're right there. We should be right with those teams next year?
100%. They're right with those teams, the upper echelon, right? Like Jalen Hurts, when that guy's back up against the wall, watch out, right? Like 3 years ago at this point, where everyone, he can't complete the deep ball, he can't do this. The year before his contract, 2 years ago, holy cow, he had an unbelievable year, lit it up, got paid a bunch of money. The ball didn't bounce his way this year. It's a part of an NFL journey. It's part of anybody's journey through life and work. It's going to happen. So as long as you have Jalen Hurts, you're a Super Bowl contender, and they're going to be going all in to do it. You saw a move like Byard at the deadline, all those different things, how he's always going to be involved in those things. And I think it's a huge offseason now with the new coaches to get what they want. And I think they're going to have, a traditional Eagles season where they're in the playoffs and making a run. It's just, what's the run going to look like? And are they going to have momentum going into the most important time of the year, which is November and December, because that team was trending down during that period of time.
All right, Colin Thompson, everybody here, breaking down the games and, of course, the Eagles moves there. Let me ask you, we've been asking our listeners today. We got Super Bowl Sunday. That's the next big sporting event coming up, as you know. But what's the next event after the Super Bowl that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, it was a great lead into the show. Great discussion. Got my mind going. I think the one thing that is just a monster, right, that you talked about is March Madness, right? Like, this is a fun little break here, though, after the football. Everybody hates it, but it's fun to get creative with your sports. Like, I'm a huge Premier League fan, so I'm all in on that. And then I love college baseball, so ESPN Plus. I watch a lot of college baseball, like a Tuesday night random game, Florida versus USF. I'll watch that. So it's fun to get creative a little bit. Hockey and the NBA will shine through, but it's always March Madness. Then it's the Masters, right? Then it's the playoff season right there. MLB starts. You said it earlier, Mike. It's the best time of year for sports. And it turns the calendar over to the warmer months, which is huge for us in the Northeast.
Yeah, and football season consumes everybody, but you're only consumed by football. Like no other sports exist around the football season. Then once football ends, it's like a smorgasbord of, well, you got the Masters, you got horse racing, you got opening day, the NBA playoffs, March Madness. Like you can hit like almost everything else other than the football, and then you get like the football off-season news kind of sprinkled in there, which kind of keeps them in the mix. So, yeah, looking forward to it. And I know, now you are you're not going to be at the Super Bowl this year. What do you got? Your football camp coming up?
I got the football camp coming up in Key West this Saturday. Super excited for that. We did it 2 years. This will be our second year in a row. We have, for coaches coming from LCMR football this year, which will be exciting. We got some campers coming from the Cape May County area, which will be exciting. Free camp for kids. That's fun. And then next weekend we do like a big Super Bowl, like fishing tournament down in Key West the weekend after that I kind of put on. So it's kind of my time off period, Mike. I enjoy it. Before I start getting probably yanked around here and doing some media stuff, I'm going to enjoy it here and going to give it one more push at this NFL thing this year, one more, and we'll see what happens.
All right, Colin Thompson, everybody, from the Colin Thompson Show on Not For Long Media right here on the Sports Bash 97.3 ESPN. All right, my friend, we'll talk to you.
See you, Mike. Thanks for having me, brother.